Hello, this is now the third part, and we are now tackling the issue of service level agreements. As we said earlier, the global supply chain is like you can talk of it as a supplier and manufacturers group, and it could be a network, or could be a group where the level or the type of coordination is done through an agreement. So you have a supply chain analysis through what is this agreement? It could be, sometimes it's called the service level agreements. So measurement is very important because you measure how fast they can turn and deliver items to you. So the idea of interfunctional service level agreements is designed to resolve the following questions. Number one, how does a function see its role and contribution to improving the whole supply chain? And number two, what levels of visibility should be given between functions of the goals and attainment by others? And number three, how does a function influence the performance of other members in the chain that can impact its own performance but are out of its direct control? You see, this is very important. How does a function influence the performance of other members in the chain that can impact its own performance but are out of its direct control? If we look at this picture, it shows the standard conceptual framework of a sequential chain from supplier to distribution, warehouse maybe, and you have a head office and an outlet. Head office is somebody who controls the entire movement of goods. Probably the buyer is here, the purchaser is here, and it goes there. By this definition of SLA or service level agreement is incomplete. It also shows an example matrix of the SLA that really need to exist. Okay? So this is an incomplete framework of a service level agreement, but somehow we can make use of it to discuss service level agreements. On the succeeding slides, I'll expand this so we can discuss some of the parameter. As you can see here, we have the supplier, and we have the distribution, the warehouse, and then we have the head office and the outlets. It is possible that this head office is the one who takes care of the outlets. Alright, so it goes this way, this one chain. And let's now go to a more detailed so between the supplier and the distribution or the warehouse, there should be, this is an agreement between two parties. See, barcode compliance, product would be 99+% available on time to quality within forecast tolerance, and reduce order lead time. And load collection or delivery in a specified time window, for example. Supply. Then you have the head office. Between supply and the head office, reduce lead time for supply, 99% accuracy in supply within tolerances. Supply and the head office. This is an agreement. This thing, I would like to highlight that this thing, for example, is not wanted solely by this. This is also wanted by this, by the head office. They both want this, and they guard each other. So it's like the only reason why this head office and this supplier, or this distribution and this supplier are together, is that both are complying to this. Once this is not complied to, the link is broken. I'd like to highlight that. This is the basis of the cement to put this together. So like the distribution, between the distribution and the supplier, forecast accuracy to orders, clear supply contracts, lead time, and the like. Alright? If you compare now this and this one, from the distribution to the supplier, you have forecast accuracy, clear supply contracts with lead times specified, and collect and receive to schedule with no delays. the initiation of this is coming from the distribution to the supplier. That's why it's from there. But here, if you look at this, the initiation of this is from the supplier to the distribution, because these are like symmetrical. If you ask now, how come they are not same, although they pertain to the same entity, supply distribution, supply distribution. But if you look at this, for example, the registry of an item, when you register with GS1, it is registered by the supplier, by the manufacturer. You can think of this as a manufacturer, a supplier, all right, or the source. And it is also, but this is wanted by the distribution as well, by the warehouse, by the trucking company. And the trucking company or the distribution of the warehouse would send a forecast accuracy, a forecast to the supplier, and clear supply contracts and lead times, and collect, receive to schedule within no delay. So the distribution is the one who collects items from the supply here, and he expects that the item will be collected from the supplier within the specified time window. Okay, and from the supplier to the head office would be reduced lead times for supply, 99% on supply with intolerances, and faster promo and new product introductions. So these are initiations. We will not go to the details of these measurements because these are like one example only. So let me just do one more. Outlets and the head office. This is the head office, and the head office and the outlet. Let's take a look at this. From the head office to the outlet, this is the outlet. See this one, outlet. A stream of promotions and new products, and then with launch without failures, auditable performance, management of distribution with visible action on issues. So the head office would be initiating the stream of promotions and new products, and this head office would have the marketing group as well as the maybe purchasing. On the other hand, the outlet, the one that is opening the store, or the bakala, for example, should provide an accurate stock on hand count of an item. The outlet should provide order schedule compliance, meaning he should order within the schedule and agree to a cut-off on order changes and delivery schedules. You see, the outlets sometimes would change its mind. You order color red now, and tomorrow he said, no, color red is not selling, I want to change it to yellow. And the head office would agree to that because of the changes. But quite often the head office would say, you change your mind only up to Saturday, because you give us Sunday to load and Monday to deliver. Load means load from the warehouse to the truck. All right, so these are the things that are needed. So let's continue. So the idea of a supply chain stewardship, the input and output measures described earlier are the high-level corporate cause and effect metrics for the supply chain. The measures in the SLA, or the service level agreement, are primarily about quality, compliance, and time. Don't forget this. About quality, compliance, and time. The stewardship role requires these measures and adds cost measures to the portfolio. It adds time, cost of making sure that the supply chain is managed properly. And so you see here, look at this. These are the measurements in between the interfaces, and it is helpful to think of a hierarchy of measures across the chain in terms of both input and output measures. Level 1 measures should provide headline measures for the supply chain, such as orders on time, in full, with no invoice error. So OTIF and IE, on time, in full, with no invoice errors, and stock cover set in a balanced way that supports the vision for change. It's level 1. Level 2 is measures should be used to provide further insight into the results of level 1, such as quantity, fill percentage, line fill percentage, and invoice accuracy. It talks about how well you are able to satisfy the requirement. Quantity fill percentage, line fill percentage, and invoice accuracy. Finally, level 3 measures should provide diagnostics for use in problem resolution improvement processes, such as request for credit, clear up rate, and number of days out of stock by SKU. So level 1, level 2, and level 3. Level 1 measures provide headline measures for the supply chain. Level 2 measures should be used to provide further insight into the results of level 1, so more detail, and level 3 should enable you to be able to diagnose what's wrong. This is a very important word. Provide diagnostics for use in problem resolution improvement processes. Okay. And see, these are various measures. When you have this measurement, you give it to the manufacturer, it gives out these measurements on the terms of stock. There's so many. I don't expect you to, we are not here for this. I just want to make sure that there are many. I'd like to assure you that there are many ways of measuring things. Obsolescence write-offs, stock accuracy, all right, weeks of cover in terms of stock, fixed time schedule horizon, all right. So these are the measures for the manufacturer, and these are the measures of the inventory distribution. And okay, so we'll end here, class. On the next discussion, we'll start with score. At this point, I just want you to just appreciate that there are many ways of measuring things, and depending on where you work and depending on the direction of your company, you will now identify which measure to take care of. Okay, we end here.